All right, today we are going to be talking about graphing a linear inequality. We have been working with linear equations. Now we're going to start into linear inequalities. Now, how do we do this? The first thing we're going to do is we're going to graph the line represented in the inequality. In other words, we find the slope and the y-intercept. Then what we have to do is determine if the line will be dotted or solid, because whether it's included in the solution or not. So the way we determine that is simply by the symbol. If it is less than or equal to or greater than or equal to, then it will be a solid line, and the line is part of the solution. If it is less than or greater than, then the line will be dotted, and that line is not part of the solution. Then the next part that we need to do is on equations, when you look at that line that you graphed, that line were all of these solutions. Well, with an inequality, you're talking about things that are greater than, less than, those types of things. So what it actually creates is a half plane that is full of solutions. So what that means is we have to figure out which side of the line would make that inequality true. So the way we do that is we pick an ordered pair that is not on the line and plug it into the inequality. Now, I will tell you right away, if the ordered pair 0, 0 is not part of the line, I highly recommend you using it. It just makes your math easier and those types of things. Now, if we plug that point into the inequality and the inequality becomes true, then we shade that half plane that contains that point. If that point makes the inequality false, then we shade the other side of the line. Okay, so let's give this a shot. So if we look at this first one, I start off, y is greater than 1/2 x minus 3. So when I look at my line, my slope would be 1/2, my y-intercept would be -3. So I come over here, 1, 2, 3 down, I put my dot for my y-intercept. Then I go up 1, right 2, up 1, right 2. Now, before I start to draw my line, I need to look at the symbol. So I look here. It says greater than, so what that means is my line is going to be dotted. So this line is not going to be part of the solution. Now what I do is I pick a point. So I'm going to do 0, 0. 0, 0 is right here. I'm going to take that point and plug it in. So it'd be 0 is greater than 1/2 times 0 minus 3. So that's 1/2 times 0, 0. So I end up with 0 is greater than -3. That is a true statement. So 0, 0 made it true. So we would shade this half plane, meaning any points located in that shaded region are going to be a solution to the inequality and make that inequality true. Okay, let's try another one. So we come back, we start off again. I say my slope is -3, my y-intercept is 1. I look at the symbol itself, it's less than or equal to, so it is going to be a solid line. So I start here at 1. From there, I go down 3, 1, 2, 3, right 1, and then 1, 2, 3, right 1. It's a solid line, so I draw that in, and there is my line. Next, I pick a point. 0, 0 is not part of the solution, not part of the line. So I'm going to pick 0, 0, and I'm going to plug that in. So I'd say 0 is less than or equal to -3 times 0 plus 1. -3 times 0 is 0. So is 0 less than or equal to 1? And that is true. So that would shade this side because that's the side that 0, 0 is part of. All right, now on this next couple, we are going to actually solve the inequality first. Okay, so the first thing I need to do is get this to say y equals. So I'm going to start off, I'm going to minus my 2x. So that would leave me -y is greater than or equal to -2x plus 4. My next step is I'm going to divide by a -1. Now, think back to earlier in the year when we did inequalities. Whenever we divide both sides or multiply both sides by a negative, it flips the inequality symbol. So instead of a greater than or equal to, it becomes a less than or equal to. So this ends up being y is less than or equal to 2x minus 4. My slope is 2. My y-intercept is -4. And this one's going to be a solid line. So 1, 2, 3, 4. From there, up 2, right 1. Up 2, right 1. It's a solid line. So there is my first line. At this now, I'm going to take and I'm going to plug in 0, 0. I always recommend plugging it into the original, so into this equation here. So that would be 2 times 0 minus 0 is greater than or equal to 4. So this whole side becomes a 0 is greater than or equal to 4. 0 is not, so that makes it false. Well, 0, 0 is here, so instead, we're going to shade the opposite side. So it looks like that. Okay, once again, that shaded region is representing any of the ordered pairs that would make that true. Okay, let's try this next one. So we're going to start off. We're going to minus my 4x from both sides. That gives me -3y is less than -4x plus 6. I then divide everything by a -3. I'm dividing everything by a negative, so that flips the inequality symbol. Becomes 4/3 x minus 2. My slope is 4/3. My y-intercept is -2. And this time it is going to be a dotted line. So I start off 1, 2 down. From there, I'm going to go up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. And it is a dotted line. So then I come in and I find my point. My point is I'm going to do 0, 0 again because it's not on there. So 0, 0 is here, and I'm going to plug it into the original. So I get 4 times 0 minus 3 times 0 is less than 6. So that all cancels out to 0 is less than 6, which is true. So I come in here, and I'm going to shade the side that contained the 0, 0. And that would be my solution. Okay, let's try a couple where horizontal and vertical lines. So here, remember y equals, or y is less than or equal to 6. My slope is 0. My y-intercept is 6. So I come up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then I look, it's going to be a solid line, so it's a horizontal line. And then I look at this and it says y is less than that. So where is y less than that? And that would be below. And that would be my shading. Okay, next part here. X is greater than -2. So remember this one, my slope is undefined. This one doesn't have a y-intercept, but it does have an x-intercept. And the x-intercept is at -2. So I come over here. Here's my x-intercept. It's going to be a dotted line. So that's what we have so far. And then it says x is greater than that. So where is x greater? And the answer would be everything to the right. And there would be our graph. Okay, and that's how we graph a linear inequality. Now, the next part of this is, can you work backwards? So I'm going to give you a graph. Can you give me the equation? So the first thing we do is we start off and we look for the y-intercept. So the y-intercept is here, which would be located at a -4. Now, the next thing I look at is I see that my line is dotted, which means that it is going to be either a greater than or a less than symbol because it cannot equal it since the line is dotted. Now I look, and where is y at? Y is below that line, so that would make y less than that equation. Okay, let's try the second one here. So on this one, I look for my y-intercept first. 1, 2, 3, 4. This time it's at a +4. Then I look. This time I know it's going to be greater than or equal to or less than or equal to because the line is solid. It is above it, so it would be greater than or equal to 1/2 x plus 4. And that's how we do linear inequalities.